Well, hello. Let's talk today about some of the notarial duties that a notary can do for you, the consumer. So there's about 6 things that we can do. What people tend to think is that we just notarize signatures. And while that's true, they fall into different categories depending on what the consumer needs. Oaths and acknowledgements seem to be the primary thing that most people need, and acknowledgements are really the most common. So let's talk a little bit about that today. So I'm going to read directly from our manual so that you know exactly what a notary can do when we're taking an acknowledgement. It says, to take an acknowledgement, the document signer must personally appear before you, the notary public, and declare that she has or he has signed the document voluntarily. You should ensure that the signer understands the document and has not been coerced into signing. If there's any question about the signer's willingness to execute the document or his or her understanding of the contents of the document, you should refuse to notarize and perhaps refer the person to an attorney for legal advice. So we are acknowledging your signature, but we're primarily making sure that you as the signer know what you're signing, that you understand it, and that you've not been coerced into signing. So that's really what we're notarizing. We do ask for ID if we don't know you, because that is required under the Florida statutes. And you'll notice on the when I show you a power of attorney in a minute, that that's what is required, either an ID of some kind, or if we personally know the person signing and have known them for years and know them to be who they say they are. So just so you know, that's what it is. And it does say here, documents typically requiring an acknowledgement include deeds, mortgages, contracts, and powers of attorney. So since power of attorney is one of the most common things we do, let me share my screen with you here. And I am going to show you what it looks like when a notary is going to be signing a power of attorney and acknowledging your signature if you're signing one, and what you need to do, what you need to make sure that you have before you do it. So this is a generic Florida durable power of attorney, and durable power of attorney is one of the things we acknowledge signatures on the most, especially here in Florida with seniors. These are very common with people over a certain age. But I'm going to page down, because this is just kind of a generic short form. It's not real detailed, but I'm going to page down here to the signature page. So if you see here, it says, in witness whereof I have on this blank day of blank 20 blank executed this financial power of attorney. And it says principal signature. So that's you, the signer. You would sign where it says principal signature, and you're going to put the day and the month and then the year in here. Did not mean to go up. So below that, you're going to see here, we the witnesses do each do hereby declare. When you are doing a power of attorney, you're going to need to have 2 witnesses in addition to the notary. Now I say that legally and under Florida law, the notary can also be a witness. I prefer not to do it that way, and I prefer that you bring your own 2 witnesses. In fact, when somebody makes an appointment with me to sign anything that I think is probably going to require witnesses, I ask them on the phone as we're making the appointment, do you have the document in front of you? And then I ask them to look at the signature page and tell me if it says 2 witnesses. And I tell them up front, I'm going to need for you to bring 2 witnesses with you. I'm just one person, and I don't walk around with an entourage of people who can witness documents. So we're going to need you as a notary. We're going to need you to bring your own witnesses for a document if they are required. So you are going to need your 2 witnesses. And then you see here, this is where the notary signs. And it says, the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me by means of physical presence or online notarization. Now, I'm going to make a quick point on that. Online notarization is something that is an option these days. I do not have that certification. I'm only an in-person notary. I probably will look at that the next time I renew. It's just not something I have right now, and I don't really want to go through the whole process of renewing, and I have to review everything when I renew anyway, and kind of be re-educated, kind of like CEU. So I may go ahead and obtain the online at that time, depending on how complicated it is. But a lot of people are doing online notarization now. So you can see here that you have to be physically present for me, and it says by blank, so that's going to be your name, Joe Customer, who is personally known to me, so if I know you personally, or who has produced blank as identification. Typically, that's going to be a Florida driver's license. Once in a blue moon, it's an out-of-state driver's license because I do work in an area that is a high snowbird and retirement transplant area. So I do have people sometimes who don't have a Florida ID, or at least don't have it yet. A passport would actually work as well. Or people who don't drive, but just have a Florida ID. It's not a driver's license, but it's just a Florida identification card. And then I sign it as the notary. I say when my commission is going to expire, and then I have a stamp that I stamp right here. Notaries actually don't use raised seal much anymore. You can get a raised seal device if you want to do that. I choose not to because it's not required. It's no longer required in Florida for a standard notarization. So that's a generic lesson on acknowledgements. We do a lot of acknowledgements for power of attorney in this area. I also have done some home sales paperwork for people who are moving to the Ocala, Florida area, but who are still selling a house up north somewhere. So I've acknowledged some of those. I occasionally do for people at the beginning of the year, they have to have a notary sign that they are still alive because they're receiving a retirement benefit from somewhere else. So I've done those. Those are kind of the common things we do as a notary here in Florida when we're just acknowledging your signature. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos, not a lot. I'm going to be doing a few videos on the other duties that notaries have so that you can see. The next one we'll probably do is on oaths because that is kind of an interesting thing that we can do. I don't think I've not done any. I've been a notary for several years now, and I've never taken an oath. I've only ever done acknowledgements. And I've solemnized marriage twice. So anyway, that's what we do primarily here, at least here in Florida, as a notary, is we acknowledge signatures. We acknowledge that the person is signing voluntarily and that they understand what they're signing. And then we verify that they are who they say they are as they sign. So that's it for today. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and you can click that notification bell for the next time I put a video up. And if you want to, please feel free to share this information with any friends you think might need it or family. My other information, my contact information will be in the description below. Thank you so much for joining me and have a great day.